Hey guys, it's almost 6:30, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of get started on this giveaway. Before I do the giveaway, though, I'm gonna, like I said, beginning of the week, I'm gonna go more into kind of fishing patterns I've been focusing on, the patterns that you should focus on coming up, ice reports, just kind of giving you a rundown of what I did the week prior. That way, if you guys are out, you're gonna know what's going on when you guys get out there. So we'll let some people get on here before we get into details on fishing. I'm gonna try to be better about updating you guys on reports and just things throughout each week to keep you guys on fish consistently also, as much as I can help. Can't give you my exact spots, obviously, because I need them for clients and myself, but I'll put you where I caught them maybe the day before and they're still there, or, vice versa. Same pattern, same area. There's nothing secret. I just like a little bit of room if I'm out there fishing by myself, I've never had an issue, and I've had a lot of people ask, and I'm glad people aren't afraid to ask. A lot of people look at us and, I think are afraid to ask at times, and, don't be afraid to ask me any questions if it's fishing related and vice versa. I'll help any way I can. I'm trying to let a few people get on here before I really get going too much with it. Like I said, we had a raffle earlier today. I put out, I don't know, kind of just a feeler. Sitting around in the shop and really didn't have a whole lot to do, so I figured I'd engage with you guys and see about maybe getting somebody on a trip that a little more affordable for their pocket this time of year. I know this time of year for a lot of, outdoors guys is kind of crunch time. But I appreciate everybody getting on there and supporting us and always being so willing to, to get in a boat with us. But that being said, we got a few people on here, so I'm going to start talking fishing. First of all, we'll start with the ice. So this morning, in the morning times, which the dam's been running a little bit of water, so that's helped tremendously with our ice situations, Got current. That's going to help keep that ice out for a little while. The mornings, it's been freezing back a little. You've had really Long Shoal, State Park, Shawnee Bend, which State Park, I think the ramp's still pretty icy. Shawnee Bend and Long Shoal are clean. You can fish it. Tomorrow, I don't know, morning time, it's probably going to freeze back a little, but I'd say mid-morning, midday, you'll be plentiful to get out and fish, catch some fish. So within the last week when I've been fishing, I've been putting in Long Shoal and Shawnee Bend like I was just talking about. And I've been, crappie-wise, you can focus. Really, this time of year, like everybody says, it's the easiest year to catch fish. Fish school up, they get in their big balls and groups, chase shad. I mean, you find shad and pretty much always you're going to catch fish. That's just kind of a given. But, on that lower end of the lake with it being open, you're going to have a lot of smaller fish, which, your deeper water, you're going to have your group fish together. Rather than, you're going on the upper ends of the lake, you're going to separate fish. The bigger fish are going to be, you're going to pick one at a time per se. If you're down the lower lake, you just look for a school and you find one, you're probably going to hammer limits. I mean, you can, bluff lines right now, you get on a bluff that, it's got a channel wrapping on it, any structure. I mean, you're pretty much going to find fish. If you don't have fish on that bluff line, go down it, scan it a little, find some bait if you don't have fish, and you find that bait and look 40, 50 feet out from it. It can be, last Saturday I fished 75 foot of water. And I caught, 100 some fish in a couple hours. And them fish were anywhere from 20 to 30 foot down, and they were just out chasing a school of blacks. There were a few good whites, but just out chasing bait. So, I mean, if you find that bait out in the channel, school crappie is not going to be far. So, I mean, lower end, focus on your bluffs. I mean, if you want to get on fish fast and not have to do a whole bunch of looking. Bluff lines, with the channel, of course, wrapping up next to it. The mouths of these bluff cuts are really well. The mouths of these creeks are pretty hot. Long Shoal area, you can get on the mouths of any of them little cuts in there, any of them, and they have fish. A lot of them are 20 to 35 foot deep. But, focus on that channel that wraps up around the bank and then the mouths of these creeks, these cuts, and you're going to find fish from now till before they get ready to get up and start, pushing up to spawn. So, you still have a couple months of this easy bite. The crappie end of it, of course, I like on the lower end, you can pull up on these schools really easy and get over the top of them and really just spot lock and drop a jig down. And if you want to do that, me personally, I throw a 16th or an 1/8 ounce Rock Hill hair jig. That's, if anybody knows me, purple, you can't beat it. My confidence is purple. There ain't a color out there that I would throw before that right there. And that's just where my confidence is at. If you're not going to throw a purple or a dark color, switch over to white, which this thing's caught a few hundred fish, as you can see. That tail's pretty beat up. But between them two colors, you can catch fish all year. It doesn't matter. That's if I'm dipping down, want to drop a long rod, there's really, I say 11 to 18 foot, which keep an eye out. Tony Edgar Rods got some things, which as you've seen, I posted the new rods are here. And keep an eye out next few days to see some things that are about to drop. You guys there ain't another deal like it, let's just say that. These new rods they're bad. You'll like them. There's, anywhere up to an 18-foot dipping rod. So, and stay tuned, for the Edgar rod deal. Can't say a whole lot. We'll see. You guys will see soon. But if I'm casting now, I'm gonna stay back 20. You can get up 10 foot on if you want to and drop, but I like staying back 20, 30 feet on these giant schools. And I might run, let's say it's a 16th. Let's say we go to a plastic, which that's a Harms baby shad. That's actually the Drake Davis color out of Sedalia, little hometown hero that helped a young kid from drowning. He designed that bait right there. I caught a lot of fish on that bait last week. And then, of course, just like earlier, same two colors, white and silver, purple. I got that purple and silver. These are baits I designed with Harms lures. I still got my June bug per se, but it's kind of hard to see. I've got my phone flipped facing me so I can see, but there's shimmer in there is what we call it. It's all flake. If you're getting like that shad scale look, that's going down the water and that thing pops. And you have here, there's a white. Your white with shimmer. I'm sitting in my garage and one whole side of my garage, my lights aren't working for some reason. And you can still see that flake in there with some dull light bulbs. And so when I'm running them, you're casting, you're getting that reaction bite. So if you're casting and it's dropping too fast and you're seeing fish just kind of look at it and stop, slow it down. If they're not going to eat that thing, there's obviously a reason they're not eating it. Slow that presentation down. I might go, some days, honestly, I'll run 2 1/8 ounce, maybe an 1/8 and a 16th. If they're not going to eat, drop down to 2 16ths. If that's the case, double rig, which I'll put a video up. Dylan Stocking actually did one yesterday, which he's another Edgar rod guy, with how to double rig casting set up, which I can do one tomorrow. So essentially all I do on my double rigs is your first hook, run it through, give you 18 inches of slack or so, tie you a loop knot with the slack end, with your tag end, go in and just tie another one about 12 inches down. That's essentially my casting setup. Nothing fancy. There ain't no surprise to it. Also another bait, if I really want to finesse fish that aren't going to eat, being a little more picky, Harms lure, the wiggler. Everybody likes a wiggler. If you need that small presentation, taking an inch and a quarter, but you can cut that thing down, make it as small as you want. It doesn't get a whole lot smaller than that. But that's kind of, them baits right there really are, that's all you need. You can any colors, etc. I've got abundance of colors that I keep in there, you know, rockkill. I keep everything just in case. And sometimes it's clients, you know, clients like their own colors sometimes, you know, they want to bring their own jigs or color. They say, you know, they've caught them on this before. So I have that, every color you can think of for that situation. If they got confidence in it, I'll put that color on for them. As long as they present it right, 90% of the time you can't catch him. Sometimes it does matter, so we got to change. But that being said, that's really, I mean, you know, like I was saying, casting. Oh, there's a silver bullet. I just seen your comment, JJ. For all you guys like silver bullet, rockkill, that's deadly too. Oh, JJ Waters, he lives by that thing right there. With these hatchet heads, they fall fast. You can fish pretty small with a hatchet head and have the same presentation and speed as you're going to get as, you know, a lot of times that size above that. That's going to cut your water just a little bit faster. And that's really why I like them hatchet heads. You can take a light bait and get it to them. I was going to say casting, though. If you guys want to work on your casting, you know, you're chasing on these fish that are out here in that open water. Stay back 20, 30 feet. Practice casting past the fish. Let it fall down. What I do personally, you know, to start, I let it fall down 3 or 4 feet above them and just slowly work that bait back over the top of them. Don't drop it down in them. Don't drop it on them. Just bring it over the top of them and see if you have any takers, just to start. And then as you're catching them active fish off the top, you know, or the back of that school or the front of that school, then work your way down. You know, cast, let it fall to the top of them fish. And, you know, in the first foot or two of them, bring it through, don't stop. The biggest thing is when you stop. A lot of these fish, if they're following a bait and you stop, he's going to do the same exact thing. So keep that bait moving if you guys are getting that casting bite. I mean, you can stop it, drop it, get a bite sometimes on the drop down. But a lot of these fish, as they're coming, keep them coming. Don't change what they're doing. If they're wanting to chase it, let them chase it, bring them. I've had fish 50 feet out I'm casting to follow me all the way to the boat, a foot down, and hit it right at the trolling motor. I'm not saying it happens a lot, but they will do it. So don't stop. Don't be afraid. They keep them coming all the way to the boat. Crappie wise though, you know, just keep working the schools this time of year. Another thing you can watch too, I've noticed over the last week, which I don't do a whole lot this time of year, is on, Core has a ton of brush piles. You look on a Mo Fishing app, there's more brush piles than you can fish. If you focused on some of these, I say secondary point brush piles, you can actually catch quite a few. Oh, my iPad just died. Hold on just a second. You can catch quite a few of these fish on these secondary point brush piles on the main lake also. You know, something that's in 20-ish foot of water. I ain't got a whole lot of structure for these fish to go to by it. So, oh yeah, Jerry, being outside every day, the winter time, I got a stuffy nose all year. It's just a given. Eric, I'm gonna do the catfish in just a second. My iPad, I didn't realize how low the battery was, so I'm gonna go ahead and maybe if he wants to cooperate. Do this drawing in just a moment here. Just kidding. Let's see if I can get it to stay on. If it stays on, I'm gonna do the drawing. If not, we're gonna have to end this in a second and do another quick video on my phone, and I can screen record it and put it on the page. Didn't realize my iPad was so dead all of a sudden. So with that being said, if this will work, it's not gonna work. All right, I'm gonna talk catfishing real quick. Once I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and go back and do this live again, just for the U-Raffle winners. Sorry, I probably should have started with that, but I want to get some reports out for you guys that ask. I get a lot of questions throughout the week. So the catfish, Eric, I only catfished one day last week. I fished the mid-Grand Arm. It was really, really windy. I think we had 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. You had, wind blowing up to the banks. And so what I focused on, your shad, I just looked for bait. I mean, channel obviously has a ton of fish deep, which is good and bad. You got to burp them, There's stuff you have to do to them catfish when you're catching 40, 50 feet, 60 feet. But, so what I did, I just focused on the wind that was blowing in. Sorry, George, I'm reading your comment. Yeah, I've side scanned some too that didn't look like they had a whole lot. Sometimes they're so tight that you kind of get some disturbance almost, and a lot of time that's your fish. I mean, it can be the slightest little bump in a limb. It's just you're hitting it at that angle. But anyways, on the catfish, so I fished, like I said, the mid Grand, which I scanned all the way up to the lower lake, or all the way down, I guess it'd be, to the lower lake, and the fish are the same. You find the channels, there's bait running in, the channel edges. I focused on the channel edges on the main channel that were, being wind blown anywhere into a contour, a bank line. So if that channel's wrapping and bending, say at 90 or something, and the wind's blowing directly at that 90 and that bait can be pushed right in that corner, they really don't have a lot of other areas to go, I mean, you're going to find fish. I fished a few bends just like that. We fished, a few hours per se. It was windy and pretty cold. We caught 2 limits of slots that we had to throw back, 3 overs, and then some keepers. I mean, we missed a decent amount too, but this is a new hat, Clint. I've never, actually just worked today. Didn't break some other ones in. My old ones are about time to retire. But yeah, the catfish, find your bait. I mean, honestly, I don't fish the lower end a whole lot for catfish, but that bait in the channel, there's fish all. I mean, I scanned probably for, I'd say, 1.5 miles, 2 miles total, and everywhere I scanned in the channel, there's catfish. I mean, the main channel, that mid to upper end, but the bends were definitely key on that wind that day for me. Can't see the bottom. What bottom logo? Oh, I don't know if you're talking about my hoodie or what. It's a Lifetime hoodie. Batteries. But yeah, and actually, so the bait end of it on my shad, I'll tell you exactly where I caught him. I went up, I put it at long shoal, went straight across, cut. That channel kind of wraps up along the bank. The wind was pushing in there, and I mean, I dropped the trolling motor, I didn't side scan or anything, dropped a live scope, and I don't know, within 2 or 3 minutes, I seen 60, 70 feet of shad, 15 foot thick all the way down. So, tape net, Cody Van Atten, he supplies tape nets, everything you need for the winter time to drop them nets down there in them deep shad. One throw, we had probably at least 10 gallons of shad. Of course, it went back, unfortunately. But any mouth that was being blown into had shad. I scanned some for catfish too when we were done, just to kind of do some looking, and it was the same way. Shad was abundance. Then the same way with the channels, the shad was running, 5 to 15 foot higher than the catfish off the bottom a lot that I seen out in that real deep stuff today or last week. But yeah, anywhere the shad are going to be in the mouth, and then in the main channels where they're getting blown a lot of times. That deep stuff, I don't know that it matters as much, but the shallower you get, especially. But that's kind of catfish and crappie. That's what I've done in the last week. Keenan, that's funny. No, I haven't. But really, other than that, I've told you everything I've done. The baits I've done, where I fished, how I fished. Catfish, our best bite was, the cut, the mid-cut pieces. No, I haven't seen a big shad kill yet. I haven't been on the water for 2 days, so I can't say much, but I haven't seen anything to mount up. But yeah, the heads and the tails I was pretty much getting rid of. I had some strikes on heads, but never really had any good takedowns on them. The side pieces, if they were I'd say probably inch or thinner on the width were probably my best bites. Anytime I had anything bigger, I mean, we'd get a couple little pokes, and it just seemed like that was it. Them little inch wide shad pieces, though, they were getting it on. I mean, they bend it and just grab it, and get it in the boat. It was about as easy as you can ask for, honestly. Yeah, I'd say not, Clint. You need to break that thing in. It probably missing you a little bit. It's an awfully nice boat just to be sitting out there collecting dust. But I appreciate you guys, watching this and taking, 20 so minutes or whatever out of your afternoons to key in kind of what I've done in the last week. Fortunately, my iPad died, so I'm going to end this here in a second and go get that on the charger so I can get that live rolling real quick so I can get your raffle winners, your winning, or whoever wins your stuff. And also, I've had an abundance of people that messaged me and wanted to get in on that raffle. Unfortunately, it filled up in like a whole 10 minutes. For you other people, and if you did it this time, whoever wants in, I'm going to do another one. Oh, dang, Clint. Anyways, I'm going to do another one Thursday because I had a lot of you guys I know work during the day, and I kind of posted it, of course, during working hours. The next one I'll go ahead and do Thursday, probably around 5 o'clock. Just kind of, I know some of you guys will be off, some of you may not, but it's kind of right before I get to do stuff with the kiddos and kind of an easier time for me to do things. So I'll do it at 5 Thursday if you want in on it. Call me anytime, Clint. I'll do whatever I can. You can catch them, though. But, yeah, we'll do another one Thursday. We'll keep an eye out around 5 o'clock. And then that's really it. If you guys have questions, feel free to message me, call me. At times, yes, it is hard to get a hold of me when you call me. I'm not going to lie. If I'm fishing or, with the kids, hanging out with them, 5 kiddos and a wife, I spend some time with them as much as I can. So if I don't see it, I'll try to get back as soon as possible. Honestly, if you call me and don't leave a voicemail, shoot me a text so I can see that you called, because I've got, I think, over almost 1,000 missed calls and texts right now. So it adds up, and sometimes takes me a minute to go through all of them or to keep up with one that was later than the other. I try to, but that's really about it. I'm going to try to do this more often, once a week if I can, if everything goes as planned. But, I mean, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them too. George, so when you're referring to, so the ones I was talking about, George, are any main lake flat per se. So, I mean, it can be, let's say, the dam to G1, or, the mouth of Tebow, the mouth of where the Grand breaks off, where the Osage breaks up to Berry Bend, the Palmy Arm where it goes back, to Fairfield. Any of that main lake stuff it's more of a secondary point. It ain't one of the main big points breaking back in there off like the main creek there. A lot of them brush piles and them secondary points have them. And there is, some main lake points too. I'll just say around State Park that has some brush that's, I guess you could, it's a main lake point. They're pretty little. And there's some brush around them if you do some scanning, and they all hold fish. It's fairly easy. It don't matter where you guys go, where I go, where the next guy goes. These fish won't get fished out. Everybody talks about live scope ruining fishing, and I think size, yeah, it can affect size of fish because it takes so long for these fish to grow. But numbers, you will never fish Truman out, ever. I fish little cuts on the upper end, which don't hold the numbers the lower end does. And I mean, you catch 100 fish per se one day and just think you've seen every fish in there. The next day, go back and there's more. I mean, of course, me personally, I love to fish. Everybody has to do their own part in the fishing side of it. So it's kind of, everyone has their own opinion on it. Let's put it that way. But yeah, that's what I'd refer to, George. Look on that Mo Fishing app, and you can start on the main lake points. There is some of them that are good too, that are holding a lot of fish, but there's also some that don't get hit as much on secondary points that are holding a lot of fish. And people look right over them. I've seen a lot of people go past them and never hit them. But yeah, so if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to hop off here and go ahead and get this raffle thing going so I can get you guys caught up on your raffle. It's a little later than what I planned on, but I'll try to do this once a week. I'll try to set more of a time going forward where, kind of say Thursday or Wednesday at this time or vice versa. We'll get something lined out here in the next week or two where we can be more consistent with these videos and, updates and, vice versa. So just kind of keep an eye on that. And if you guys, have friends that want to look at, tips, tricks, I'll try to do a little something different every time along with the fishing report. So share the video, invite them to my page, invite them to, invite them to, YouTube channel. You can go to my page. All the handles are on there. I'll do whatever I can to help everybody out. I appreciate it. Thank all you guys for all the support, and I'll be posting that raffle here shortly. Thank you guys.